So I'm here with Chad Sessions, who is the CEO and the owner of Windermere Northwest Living. And I have some questions for him. So you're going to get to hear all the questions we have for him today. So,
all right.
Everybody asks you the question about the market. Mm-hmm. How is the market? How are you finding it? What would you say?
I would say the market in general is flat, but interest rates are starting to gravitate downward, which is really helping buyers, get off the fence and start their home searches.
What would you say to somebody who's waiting for the interest rates to go down to like 3%?
I would say it's not probably ever going to happen. Mm-hmm. So now's the time to buy. When interest rates do go down, there'll probably be a lot more people in the marketplace. So it'll probably turn into more of a seller's market.
Yeah.
And I think the prices will go up as well. So buy now and then refi when the rates come down.
Ooh,
that would be my advice.
That's good advice. Okay. So what would you say in today's market separates the homes that sell quickly from the ones that sit on the market for long?
That's a great question. I think primarily you always want to get your home looking the best. Mm-hmm. Home sales are very much a beauty contest. So anything you can do to make the home more appealing and more marketable before you put it on the market is mm-hmm. best. Okay. Buyers right now, because interest rates are higher, they are becoming very picky. So if they're going to have that big house payment every month, mm-hmm. they really want things finished. So I would say don't hesitate to get that home painted, get that roof replaced if needed. Mm-hmm. Some of those big items, furnace, for instance. But what's good is there's not a lot of inventory. Mm-hmm. So if your home is one of the ones that is looking the best, it will sell.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. And tell us about the program that Windermere has to help people who can't afford to pay for making their home look prettier.
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
That program is called Windermere Ready, and it's a program where the sellers can get a short-term loan to make any improvements they want, somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000, mm-hmm. and then the seller would pay that loan back at the time the home sells. Mm-hmm. But we're finding that, if sellers take advantage of that, it's making for shorter market time, and they actually are getting more for their home than if they wouldn't have done anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you had that and you're thinking of selling and your house doesn't look great right now, but there is an option if you're working with Windermere.
Right. We have a solution.
How important is pricing correctly in the first 14 days?
The best marketing time typically is the first 21 days, the first 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. So we have some sellers that say, well, let's price high. We can always come down. Mm-hmm. But that typically is not a good tactic because that valuable market time in the first 3 weeks is when most of the buyers are, going to step up and make an offer on your home.
Okay, all right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So pricing high in the beginning puts you at a disadvantage.
Yeah, because statistically what happens is if you price too high and you get past those first 3 weeks, mm-hmm. you end up taking less than what you would have if you would have just priced it right for the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think sellers underestimate the most about today's market?
Market time. Mm-hmm. We haven't been in this type of market for a long time. And so a lot of sellers have experienced putting their home on the market and they get an offer within days or at the longest weeks. But our average market time right now is around 90 days. So it's hard to be patient and just know that it's a different market and it's just taking longer.
Mm. Ooh, what advice would you give a first-time buyer entering the market right now?
Probably the biggest advice is use a good professional full-time real estate agent to help you find a home.
Okay.
It's really helpful when you're trying to navigate and find the right home for you and your family. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, which we already touched on, is don't be so concerned with that interest rate because they will come down and you will be able to refi and lower that payment.
Why does working with a brokerage matter in competitive situations?
In competitive markets, it's really important that you work with an agent that has experience in navigating that, especially in certain price points where there's a good chance you're going to have a multiple offer situation. So if you have an agent that knows what they're doing and you're in competition, say you're competing against 3 or 4 other buyers, taking the counsel of your agent on how to win the offer can really make the difference on whether or not you get that home that you're in love with or not.
What differentiates Windermere from other brokerages?
Oh, I'd love to talk about that.
Yes.
I think probably one of the biggest differentiators is that we hire full-time agents. We are very particular about who we hire into the Windermere brand, and professionalism is really important to us. And so there's a certain standard that we really hold our agents to. We're not for everybody, but I feel like if you choose to work with a Windermere agent, you're in good hands.
Yeah. And I would say, just to add to that, is the training that you get is quite intensive and it's very useful. In fact, I've found that some of the things I've learned in the period I've been at Windermere are more important for my day-to-day activities than what I learned in school.
Oh, that's good to hear you say, because we do put a lot of emphasis on education and market-sensitive education so that the agent knows how to navigate the particular market that we're in at the moment. So I'm glad you feel that way.
Yes. I honestly appreciate it because it shows that you, as the owner of the business, is interested in my success just as much as I'm interested in my success. So
Absolutely.
I feel that I have an organization that is rooting for me, that is supporting me, that gives me mentors who will guide me and work with me as I'm navigating things and helping me deliver the best service for my clients as well.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
What risks do buyers face if they don't have strong representation?
I would say one of the biggest ones is the condition of the home. If you're not working with an agent who has connections to good home inspectors, it can be a nightmare. You can get into the home and then find out that there's a lot of deferred maintenance. Maybe there's some things that the seller wasn't totally honest about, and it really can turn into a money pit when it was supposed to be a happy purchase. So I think there's a lot of protections in place, and when you choose to work with an agent who knows what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay, and what about the negotiation? Like if I'm buying...
Great point.
Yeah. I want the best price. I want to get good value for my money.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. That's where an agent can really make a difference. Not just, in negotiating, say, a home inspection, but negotiating the price initially, whether or not a seller is going to pay for your closing costs, whether they're going to provide a home warranty to you. There's lots of different things that an agent can negotiate on a buyer's behalf.
Okay, you all had that. So have a strong agent, a good agent, and one who can help you not just navigate the process, but negotiate the best pricing. Make sure that you're not buying a lemon. Connect you to the right people to help you, whether it's fix your house, help you get the financing. You've heard about the Windermere program to help you get your house ready if you're selling. So all of those are things that you should also ask when you're interviewing the agent. Talk to a few agents if you want to interview a few agents, but make sure that they're able to give you the support that you require in the process and that they'll be there for you. You don't want the kind of agent who you see when you sign the document and then thereafter you never get to hear from them. They don't respond to your messages. And that's the professionalism that you find at Windermere. Here, you're held accountable. You cannot do that. So speaking of agents, what qualities do you believe top agents in this market have?
Great communication skills, great follow through. I think in this market, it's really important that agents do their homework and they They know values in certain areas really well. And then you kind of touched on it with what you just said. They have a team of people around them, whether it be a lender, a title company, home warranty company. They have that team already in place to help their buyer navigate and have the best experience possible.
And my last question is, if you were selling your home right now, what would you prioritize? What would you do to get your home ready? What would you prioritize? And how would you make sure also that you get the best price for your home?
Great question. I think it's important to bring an agent out to your home and let that agent give you some initial advice as you're getting the home ready to put on the market. A good experienced agent will be able to tell you where to put your time and resources in order to get that best return. And usually those are the big areas: roof, HVAC. A lot of times it can be the deck, could have, some dry rot or something like that. Anything that is glaring or could be a problem when it comes to financing the home. So there's a lot of things, and it, of course, depends on if there's been some deferred maintenance, or if perhaps the home is in a certain area. Then perhaps you don't have to do as much to the home because the area is so desirable.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of variables in there. And my biggest advice would be meet with an agent first before you start spending money on your home.
Because the agent also, with their experience, they know what improvements you make to the house that will get you more value as opposed to just being additional cost.
Exactly.
No incremental price.
Perfectly said, Jacqui.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
This has been
right.
fun.
I'm glad. And actually, just finally, maybe just give us a background. How did you end up in real estate?
Well, when I was 21, I bought my first rental property. It was a triplex in Vancouver, Washington. Okay. And I kind of just caught the real estate bug. And from there, I became an agent, and then I became a manager, and then I became a general manager. And then we opened our own company. But the thing I like about real estate is, especially residential real estate, is that you really get to come alongside people and help them find, for most people, the largest investment that they're going to make for themselves. And so it's really the people and that interaction that you get to have with people. Yeah, that's the best part.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We did it.
We did it. All right. Thanks for joining us. If you have any comments or anything you'd like to share, please comment below. As usual, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.